Imagine discovering you're mated to the Alpha King, the same night your family is taken hostage and you wake up pregnant with a child you don't remember conceiving. Listen closely. Because what happened to Myra Rowan was never supposed to happen to anyone. Her fate was sealed centuries before she was born. Pause for a sec, comment your country, and let's get started. The Great Hall of Blackstone Keep glittered like a frozen lake under moonlight. Torches burned along the walls, their flames dancing across black stone pillars carved with wolves. Every unmated wolf from every pack stood in organized rows, dressed in their finest. Alphas in embroidered coats, betas in polished armor, and omegas like Myra Rowan trying desperately to blend in. Myra stood at the very end of the omega line, head slightly bowed. She tugged at the sleeve of her plain brown dress, wishing she could melt into the floor. Her heart thudded painfully. Just breathe, she whispered to herself. He won't even look at you. No one ever does. All her life, she had been trained to remain unseen. Be small. Be quiet. Be nothing. Especially here, in front of Alpha King Ryland Draven, the man known across the territories as a ruler who could crush a rebellion with a single command. A king with eyes like storm clouds and a temper that even alphas feared. The herald stepped forward and raised the ceremonial blade. Present the next unmated wolf. Myra swallowed. Please, not me. Not yet. Let someone else go first. Myra Rowan of the Willow Mist Pack, the herald called. Her stomach dropped. Of course. She stepped forward on stiff legs. Her palms were sweaty. Her knees weak. She walked until she reached the marble platform, where her blood was to be drawn. She kept her eyes down, focusing on her shoes. Just a prick. Just a drop. Then she could crawl back into her place among the invisible. The herald lifted her hand, his grip trembling slightly. Myra frowned. He was nervous today, unusually so. Before she could ask why, the blade slipped. Not a prick. A slice. Ah. Myra gasped as a sharp sting shot up her palm. Blood spilled freely, far more than needed, dripping onto the ancient stone engraved with sigils of old wolf magic. The hall fell silent. And that was when it happened. A surge of power rippled across the room so strong Myra felt it in her bones. A cold rush. A pull. A snap. The air thickened with an invisible force. A deep voice cut through the silence like a blade. Who bled on the claiming stone? Myra froze. Heavy footsteps echoed down the stairs leading to the throne. The crowd lowered their heads instantly. Only one man in the world commanded that kind of submission. King Ryland Draven. Myra felt him before she saw him, his presence hit her like a wall. He was power contained in a single body, a storm disguised as a man. Myra Rowan, the herald whispered, trembling. Sire, the blood was accidental. Ryland's boots stopped just inches from her. Myra forced herself to look up. He was taller than she expected, broad-shouldered, dressed in black armor lined with silver. His hair fell to his jaw, dark and slightly tousled, as if he had run a hand through it moments before. His eyes, normally grey, were turning darker by the second. No, he said, voice low. Impossible. Myra's breath caught. Your Majesty, I didn't mean. He reached out and grabbed her wrist. Myra almost pulled away on instinct, but the moment his skin touched hers, something slammed between them. A bond. A spark. A recognition older than language. Rylan inhaled sharply as if struck. His eyes turned fully black. Mate. The word echoed through the hall. Gasps filled the air. Someone dropped a cup. Another wolf whisper screamed, the king's mate? An omega. Myra's legs wobbled. No, she whispered. Not me. There's been a mistake. Rylan leaned in, voice like a dark growl. There are no mistakes in blood magic. I didn't. I'm not. Myra's voice crumbled. I can't be your mate. Look at me. His command wrapped around her like invisible chains, gentle but unbreakable. She looked. His expression was unreadable, caught between shock and something deeper, something raw. Your blood reacted, he said quietly. And my wolf responded. His gaze flickered, almost pained. You are mine. The crowd erupted into shocked murmurs. An Omega Queen? Impossible. Unacceptable. Unheard of. Her heart pounded as panic crawled up her throat. She tried to pull back her hand, but Ryland's grip tightened. "Do not fear," he said softly, so different from the ruthless king she knew. "I won't harm you." But his voice shook. Not with anger. With restraint. The mate bond was pulling him like gravity. "Let her go," a voice shouted suddenly. Every head snapped toward the sound. Myra's breath caught when she saw him. Prince Cale. Ryland's younger brother. The man who had once smiled at her when no one did. The man who had spoken to her in the gardens during pack gatherings. The prince she had never dared to dream about. His eyes, warm gold instead of Ryland's stormy grey, were filled with heartbreak. "What are you doing, brother?" Cale demanded, stepping forward. "You can't claim her." "She is my mate," Ryland growled back. Cale's jaw locked. "She can't be." Myra felt sick. Her breathing turned shallow. She wanted to disappear. She wanted to wake up in her bed at her pack house and find this all a nightmare. Ryland turned to the crowd and lifted their joined hands. "By blood and bond, I claim Myra Rowan as my queen." The hall erupted, some cheering in shock, others shouting in protest, elders whispering in horror. But Myra heard none of it. Her world narrowed to the two brothers before her. One who claimed her. One who looked like he had lost everything. And Myra stood frozen between them, her life rewritten in a single drop of blood. Chaos filled the throne room after the claiming. Advisors rushed toward Ryland. Guards formed a circle around Myra as if enemies might appear at any second. The air buzzed with fear, excitement, and outrage. Ryland guided Myra toward a private corridor, his hand steady around her wrist, his expression like carved stone. She stumbled beside him. "Your Majesty, wait." "Ryland," he corrected quietly, eyes flickering down to her hand. "You can call me Ryland." She shook her head. "I don't understand any of this." "You will." His tone softened. "But not here." Before they could reach the corridor, Cale stepped into their path. "Let her go." Ryland tensed. "Move." No, Cale's voice cracked with quiet fury. "We need to talk. Now. All three of us." The guards froze, unsure what to do. Ryland growled, "This is neither the time nor." "There will never be a better time," Cale snapped. He looked at Myra, pain etched into every line of his face. "She deserves to understand what just happened." Myra's heart clenched painfully. Ryland hesitated. Myra felt the conflict through the strange, fragile bond forming between them. He didn't want to let her out of his sight, but he also didn't want to frighten her. Finally, he nodded once. 5 minutes, Ryland said. "No more." Cale turned to Myra. "Come with me. Just over here. You're safe." Something gentle in his voice loosened her chest. She followed him a few steps away while Ryland stood like a shadow behind them, watching. Cale ran a hand through his dark hair, clearly shaken. "Are you hurt?" "No," Myra whispered. "Just overwhelmed." Cale exhaled shakily. "Myra, listen. Before tonight, before this, did you feel anything unusual? Any strange dreams? Pulls? Warnings?" "What?" she asked. "No. Nothing." "Are you sure?" Cale pressed gently. "Because this bond. It was an accident," she blurted. "The knife slipped. I didn't mean for my blood to fall." "But it did," Ryland said quietly behind her. Myra turned. His expression was unreadable, but his eyes were softer than she expected. "Your blood woke my wolf," Ryland said. "That cannot be undone." Cale stepped between them. "Ryland, she's an Omega. You know what this means." "Do not speak as if she is fragile," Ryland snapped. "The bond chose her. She didn't choose you." Cale shot back. Silence. Myra's throat tightened. She whispered, "Please stop arguing." Cale's eyes softened. "Myra, I need you to know something. Before tonight, before this ceremony," he swallowed. "You and I, we talked. We laughed. Cale." Ryland's voice was a warning. "No," Cale said, stepping forward. "She deserves to know. Myra, I cared about you. More than I should have. Myra felt the ground tilt. Her heart pounded painfully. Cale continued softly, I wasn't allowed to say anything. You're an Omega. I'm a prince. But I thought. I hoped. He shook his head. It doesn't matter now. Ryland's jaw ticked. You should have told me. This isn't about you, Cale said. It's about her. 2 brothers. 2 storms ready to clash. And Myra, standing in the eye of it. Ryland stepped closer to her, carefully, as if approaching a frightened animal. Myra. I know this is overwhelming. But I swear on my crown, you are safe. I will not force anything on you. His voice lowered. The bond is strong, I can feel what you feel. Your fear, your confusion. I will not add to it. Cale scoffed softly, but his eyes were sad. You're scaring her just by standing there, brother. Myra wrapped her arms around herself. I didn't choose this, she whispered. Ryland's expression flickered with something like pain. Neither did I. Cale looked away. For a moment, none of them spoke. Finally, Myra lifted her chin. What happens now? Ryland answered first. You will be taken to guest chambers under my protection. No harm will come to you. Cale added, voice firm, and no decision will be forced onto you tonight. You should rest, Myra. Everything else can wait. Her gaze moved between them. 2 brothers. 1 bond. 1 broken heart. She exhaled shakily. Take me to the room. Both men moved at once, then froze when they realized it. The tension between them was so thick it was almost a physical force. Ryland finally stepped forward. I will escort you. Cale's jaw flexed. I'll walk behind. To keep you safe. Myra nodded weakly, and together, the 3 of them walked down the corridor. A king bound by magic. A prince bound by love. And an Omega whose world had just turned upside down. Myra barely slept. The guest chamber was beautiful, gold curtains, feather pillows, a balcony overlooking the moonlit courtyard, but none of it mattered. Her mind felt like it was spinning too fast for her body to keep up. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Ryland's blackened eyes, and Cale's hurting ones. When morning came, she sat by the window in a borrowed nightdress, watching wolves move through the courtyard below like shadows. Her heart felt heavy. A knock came. Before she could respond, the door opened and Ryland stepped inside. He looked different from last night, still powerful, still intimidating, but dressed in lighter clothes, black leather, no armor. His hair was tied loosely, framing sharp cheekbones. Most shocking of all, his eyes were no longer black. They were soft gray again. He paused when he saw her sitting on the sofa, hugging her knees. I didn't mean to startle you, he said quietly. You didn't. Her voice came out faint. He took a slow step forward. I wanted to check on you. Why? Myra asked before she could stop herself. You don't even know me. Ryland exhaled, eyes flickering. I know what the bond tells me. And right now, it tells me you're overwhelmed. She looked down at her hands. I don't want to cause trouble. You didn't. His jaw tightened. Blood magic acted on its own. A soft knock interrupted them. Before either could speak, the door swung open again, this time revealing General Arden, the king's advisor. Your Majesty, he said urgently, we have a situation. Ryland straightened. What kind? Arden's eyes flicked to Myra. I believe the Queen should hear this. Don't call me that, Myra whispered, face flushing. But Arden continued, the Thorn Alliance arrived at the palace gates. They demand audience with the king. They say it concerns the Rowan girl. Myra's heart stopped. My family, she whispered. They know. They came with a warning, Arden continued. Something about a blood oath. Ryland's eyes snapped to Myra. Is this true? Myra swallowed hard. Yes. Before I was born, my family made a deal. A debt. What sort of debt? Ryland pressed. They saved my mother's life, and in return, our family swore never to rise above our rank. Never to hold power. Never to draw the attention of royalty. Myra's hands were trembling now. If we broke that oath, they could claim our lives. Ryland's face darkened with fury. Who dares threaten you? Rylan. Get my guards, he ordered Arden. Bring the Alliance into the war room. I will hear them myself. Arden nodded and left. Rylan turned back to Myra, his eyes burning. They will not touch you. You don't understand, Myra whispered. This oath is older than you, older than me. They don't care about the crown's rules. They only care about their own. Then I'll break their rules for them, Rylan said coldly. Myra shook her head. If you protect me, they'll go after my family. Rylan froze. A moment later, the door burst open again, but this time, it wasn't a guard. It was Cale. His chest rose and fell sharply as he took in the scene, Myra pale and shaking, Rylan tense with anger. What happened? Cale demanded. Rylan's voice was clipped. The Thorn Alliance is here. Cale's face drained of color. Because of the claim? Yes. Cale's gaze whipped to Myra, pain flickering across his face. I'm sorry, he whispered. I should have stopped this. Rylan glared sharply. We will not argue here. Myra, come with me. Myra followed both brothers down the hall toward the war room. Guards lined the corridors, watching her like she was a rare creature they didn't know whether to protect or fear. When they entered the war room, the Thorn representatives already stood waiting. Their leader, Thorn Elder Corvin, stepped forward. He was tall, sharp-featured, with white hair braided back and eyes that looked like they had seen too many winters. Alpha King Draven, Corvin said calmly. We come for the girl. Myra's stomach twisted painfully. Rylan stepped in front of her. Then you may leave disappointed. Corvin's gaze flickered. You have violated an ancient oath. The Rowan line is forbidden from rising above their station. A claim bond with the king breaks that oath. The girl must die to fulfill the debt. Cale moved instantly, blocking Myra with his own body. You will not lay a hand on her. Corvin smiled slightly. Prince Cale. I see you still let your heart lead you. Say one more word about her, Cale growled, and I'll. Enough. Rylan's voice boomed through the room. You dare threaten my mate? In my own palace? Mate or not, Corvin said, you cannot erase blood law. Rylan stepped forward, power radiating around him. I am the law here. Corvin didn't flinch. If you defy the oath, the Thorn Alliance will declare war. Then we will end your alliance. Corvin's eyes flicked toward Myra. You think you can protect her forever? Think carefully, Alpha King. You protect her, but can you protect her parents? Her siblings? Myra gasped. What did you do? Corvin gave a small, cruel smile. Your family was taken last night. Alive, for now. But time is a fragile thing, child. Rylan's roar shook the room. You kidnapped the family of the queen. She is no queen, Corvin said sharply. She is a girl born under a debt she cannot escape. Rylan's muscles tensed. Return them. Fulfill the oath, Corvin said coldly. Reject the girl. Break the bond. Deliver her to us. Then her family lives. Silence hit like a physical force. Cale turned to Rylan, eyes wide with desperation. Don't you dare consider it. She didn't choose this. You did. Rylan didn't respond immediately. His jaw clenched. His fists curled. His wolf stirred in his eyes. Myra felt her breath leave her chest. Rylan, she whispered, voice shaking. Please. He turned toward her. And she saw something in his eyes, something raw, torn, conflicted. The Thorn Elder watched them carefully. You have 3 days to decide. After that. He paused, smiling. We will send you her mother's hand first. Then her father's eyes. Rylan snarled, power exploding around him. Guards drew weapons. But Corvin only bowed mockingly. We await your choice. Alpha King. Then the Thorn delegation left the room, leaving a silence so sharp it felt like glass. Myra's legs gave out. Cale caught her. Rylan watched, stone-faced, but Myra saw the truth in his eyes. He was trapped. She was trapped. They were all trapped. Myra sat on the edge of the bed in the healer's chamber, hands trembling in her lap. She had been shaking since the confrontation with the Thorn Alliance. Her head felt heavy, her vision blurry. Drink this, said healer Celine, a pale woman with moonlight-colored eyes. Myra sipped the herbal tea, though it barely stayed down. Kale stood on her right, arms crossed tightly. Rylan stood on her left, silent but watching her every movement. Your body is stressed, Celine said gently. Your pulse is rapid. Your scent is confused. Scent? Myra asked, frowning. Celine exchanged a look with Rylan, one Myra didn't understand. Myra, Celine said softly, the bond awakened more than you realize. That kind of magic can disrupt the body. I need to run a full energy scan. Rylan stepped forward. Is it dangerous? No, Celine said. But, given her bloodline, certain possibilities must be considered. Myra blinked. What possibilities? Celine pressed her palm to Myra's abdomen. A soft glow spread out, warm and soothing. Celine inhaled sharply. Rylan stiffened. What is it? Celine pulled her hand back slowly. Myra is with child. The world froze. Myra's blood ran cold. What? Kale's face drained of color. No. That's impossible. She would know. Celine shook her head. Not always, especially for an Omega awakening late power. The pregnancy is young, but unmistakable. Myra felt like she couldn't breathe. But how? I haven't. Her throat closed. Kale turned away in pain. Rylan's voice was low, dangerous. When? Approximately 6 weeks, Celine answered. Rylan looked like ice. 6 weeks. Myra whispered, that was the night of the gathering. Kale jerked toward her. Myra, you don't remember that night? No, she whispered. I remember talking to someone. Feeling dizzy. Then, nothing. Celine hesitated. Someone tampered with your memory. Magic was involved. Myra pressed her hands to her mouth. Rylan turned to Celine sharply. Do you know who the father is? Celine shook her head. Not yet. But the child is strong. Powerful. Very powerful. Myra's eyes filled with tears. I don't understand. I don't even know what happened that night. Rylan stepped closer. Myra. Look at me. She did. His voice was quiet, controlled, but something fierce burned behind it. I will find out who did this. I swear to you, whoever touched you without your consent will die. Kale ran a hand through his hair, grief and rage mixing. This is why I told you not to trust anyone here. Rylan snapped. This happened before the claiming. Exactly, Kale shot back. You think this is coincidence? Someone planned this. Someone wanted her pregnant before the bond. Celine nodded slowly. It is suspicious. And dangerous. Myra felt her heart shatter. The walls around her felt too small. The air too thick. A child. A night she couldn't remember. A father she couldn't name. Her voice broke. What do I do? What am I supposed to do? Rylan knelt in front of her. Not as a king. Not as a warrior. But as a man. Myra, whoever this child's father is, you are still my mate. And I will protect you. And the baby. Kale stepped forward, face twisted. She doesn't need protection. She needs the truth. She needs freedom. She needs safety, Rylan growled. She needs choices, Kale fired back. Myra pressed her hands to her ears. Please stop. Both brothers froze. Myra looked up, eyes wet. My family is kidnapped. I'm pregnant and I don't know how. I'm claimed by a king I barely know. Everyone wants something from me. Everyone is lying. I don't trust anyone. Rylan inhaled slowly. You can trust me. Kale whispered, you can trust me. Myra shook her head painfully. I don't trust either of you right now. Silence. Then Celine stepped forward. Myra needs rest. And answers will come. But there is something else. Myra's heart thudded. What? Celine met her eyes. You are not just any Omega. You are a Lumen Omega. A rare kind. Your body only conceives when it chooses to. Even subconsciously. Myra felt dizzy. So, this means. Yes. It means on some level, your body chose the father. Myra's tears fell silently. Cale closed his eyes in pain. Ryland's fists clenched. Celine added, and the child is strong. Very strong. Her voice lowered. This baby may be the reason the Thorn Alliance wants Myra. Ryland stood abruptly. No one is taking her. Or the child. Cale stepped forward. You can't protect everyone at once. Ryland's voice turned to steel. Watch me. Myra stared at her shaking hands. Her life was no longer her own. She wasn't just a claimed Omega. She wasn't just a girl with a blood debt. She was carrying the most dangerous secret in the realm. And every pack, every enemy, every prophecy wanted her child. The prophecy room was carved deep beneath the palace, hidden from most of the kingdom. Only the king, the royal bloodline, and the council of lunar oracles were allowed inside. Few ever left unchanged. Myra didn't want to go down there. She didn't want to face any more secrets. But after discovering she was pregnant and after the Thorn Alliance threatened her family, she had no choice. Answers were the only thing keeping her from breaking apart. Ryland walked beside her as they descended the long staircase, torches flickering along the walls. Cale followed silently behind, arms crossed, jaw tight. Myra felt trapped between them. Ryland, powerful, protective, bound to her by fate. Cale, hurting, angry, connected to her by something old and painful. Celine, the healer, marched ahead, her silver robes brushing the stone floor. At the bottom of the stairs, a huge iron door stood waiting. Celine placed both hands on it. Moonlight symbols glowed under her palms. The door unlocked with a loud groan. The room was round, the walls glowing with silver carvings. Crystal pillars circled the edges like frozen waterfalls. In the center lay a shallow pool of water that reflected moonlight even though no moon was visible. 3 women stood around the pool. The lunar oracles. Their eyes were white and their hair silver, flowing past their waists. They looked as if they had been carved out of the moon itself. As Myra entered, the tallest oracle lifted her chin. She arrives. The mother of the starborn child. Myra froze. Starborn, what does that mean? Ryland stepped protectively in front of her. You summoned us. Speak the prophecy plainly. The oracles stepped forward in perfect unison, their voices blending into one haunting sound. The child she carries will be born between light and shadow. The one who shines brightest, or the one who burns the world. A chill ran down Myra's spine. Cale exhaled sharply. So the prophecy everyone whispers, it's about her child. The oracle nodded slowly. Long ago, the moon and the shadow wolf fought. Their power tore the world apart. Only when they merged could balance return. She looked at Myra's stomach. This child, is that merging? Celine whispered, light and shadow. Myra stepped forward, voice trembling. Are you saying my baby could destroy the kingdom? No child is born evil, the oracle said. But this one will not be ordinary. Their power will draw enemies, death, and war. She held out her hand to Myra. Your life will soon no longer be your own. You will be hunted. You will be worshipped. You will be feared. Ryland growled, she is already hunted. Yes, the oracle said. And now everyone will know why. Another oracle spoke. The Thorn Alliance wants the child to rebuild their power. The Shadeborn vampires want the child to open the dark gates. The Lunar Council fears the prophecy and wishes Myra dead. Myra's blood turned to ice. Dead. Ryland's entire body went rigid with rage. Cale stepped closer to Myra. No one will touch you. Not while we're here. But Myra shook her head, stepping back from both of them. You can't keep saying that. You can't protect me from everything. Watch us, Ryland growled. Myra swallowed. You don't understand. The oracle's voice cut through the air. You, Myra Rowan, are the bearer of the most powerful child in centuries. The balance of the world rests on your choices. Myra felt dizzy. My choices. I never got to choose anything. Not the claiming. Not the bond. Not the pregnancy. The oracles looked at her with sad eyes. And yet the world shifts around you. Ryland stepped forward, eyes stormy. What must we do to protect her? The lead oracle raised her hand. You must accept that this prophecy is bound to you both. Blood magic chose her. And destiny chose you. Kale scoffed bitterly. Destiny is a cruel thing. Cruel, yes, the oracle said softly. But necessary. Myra felt her legs tremble. Rylan caught her elbow gently. What would you ask of me? She whispered. The oracle's white eyes seemed to glow brighter. Stay alive. Myra blinked. That's it. Yes. Because if you die. The pool rippled. Shadows twisted inside the water like smoke. Your child will fall into the hands of those who wish to burn the world. Kale's hand clenched into a fist. Then we fight everyone. The oracle shook her head. War has already begun. Rylan's voice was cold as winter. Then let them come. I will destroy anyone who threatens her. But Myra wasn't listening anymore. Her mind replayed the oracle's words. You will be hunted, worshipped, feared. And worst of all, your child could save the world, or end it. She wrapped her arms around her stomach, tears building behind her eyes. She didn't feel powerful. She didn't feel chosen. She felt like a trap the universe had thrown her into. A prophecy she never asked for. A life she never wanted. A future she couldn't escape. When they left the room, Myra didn't speak. The brothers didn't speak either. But the tension between them grew heavier with every step. As they walked up the stairs, one thought echoed loudly in Myra's mind. If she stayed alive, she risked war. If she died, the world burned. There was no winning. Only surviving. The palace gardens were quiet that evening, lit by small lanterns glowing with soft golden flames. Myra walked slowly through the winding paths, needing air. Her body felt heavy from the prophecy, from the pregnancy, from everything. She sat on a stone bench beneath a white blooming moonflower arch. The petals glowed like tiny moons. She finally let herself breathe. But the peace lasted only seconds. Footsteps approached. Myra. She looked up to see Kale standing there, still wearing the clothes from earlier, the royal emblem across his chest half torn, as though he had ripped it during an argument. She sighed. You shouldn't be here. Kale sat beside her anyway. I needed to see you. His voice was tight, full of emotions he was trying hard to control. Myra stared straight ahead. Everything the oracles said, it feels like a nightmare. Kale looked at her, eyes softening. You shouldn't face this alone. I'm not alone, she said weakly. Your brother is always there. Kale clenched his jaw. Do you want him there? She didn't answer. Kale leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I know you think I'm angry with you. But I'm not. He took a shaky breath. I'm angry at him. I'm angry at fate. I'm angry at every force in this world that keeps taking choices away from you. Myra whispered, Kale. You don't deserve this, he said, voice cracking slightly. You deserved a simple life. A peaceful one. Not a throne. Not a prophecy. Not this. She looked at him, heart heavy. We can't change what happened. No, Kale said, eyes burning. But I can change what comes next. Kale. He suddenly stood, pacing. The Thorn Alliance. The Lunar Council. The vampires. The prophecy. They'll never stop coming for you. And Rylan is too focused on the throne to see the danger clearly. Myra frowned. That's not fair. He's trying to protect me. His way, Kale shot back. Using power. Using force. He'll start wars. And you'll be caught in the middle of every one. Kale, please. He took both her hands suddenly, urgently. Come with me. She froze. What? Come with me, he repeated softly. Leave the palace tonight. I'll take you to a safe place. The rebellion has a hidden sanctuary near the mountains. Somewhere Rylan can't reach. Somewhere the prophecy can't touch. Myra blinked. Rebellion? Kale paled slightly. He hadn't meant to say that. But it was too late. You're hiding something, Myra whispered. Tell me. Kale's face collapsed into guilt. I'm part of a group working to change the kingdom. To break Rylan's rule. He's not the leader the world thinks he is. So you're plotting against the king, Myra said quietly. Kale squeezed her hand. I want a world where omegas can rise. Where people like you aren't given death sentences for falling into fate's hands. She pulled her hand away. Kale, that's dangerous. It's necessary. Does Rylan know? No, Kale said. And he can't. If he finds out, he'll kill you. Kale nodded silently. Myra's heart pounded painfully. Kale stepped closer. Myra, you and your child will be protected in the sanctuary. No prophesies. No politics. No threats. Just safety. And what about my family? Myra whispered. Kale swallowed. The rebellion has people tracking them. We can get them back. Myra's eyes widened. You can? Yes. Kale took her hands again. But you need to trust me. Before she could answer, a deep voice cut through the garden. Trust him with what? Rylan emerged from the shadows. His expression was unreadable. Cold. Sharp. Dangerous. Kale stiffened. Nothing that concerns you. Rylan walked forward slowly, eyes scanning Myra's face, then Kale's hands holding hers. Myra, Rylan said softly, step away from him. Kale pulled her closer. She's not a possession, brother. Rylan's eyes darkened. No. She's my mate. And she has a mind of her own, Kale snapped. The air crackled with tension. Myra stood quickly. Stop it, both of you. But the brothers weren't listening. Rylan stepped close to Kale, voice low. I heard enough to know you're a danger to her. Kale didn't back down. I heard enough to know you're a danger to everyone. Rylan's eyes went black. You're part of a rebellion? Against me? Kale's jaw tightened, but he didn't deny it. Rylan's power exploded through the garden like a sudden wind. Traitor. Kale snarled back, tyrant. Myra stepped between them, trembling. Stop. Both of you, please. Rylan froze instantly, his wolf obeying her voice. Kale looked away, eyes full of hurt. Myra whispered, Kale, why didn't you tell me? He swallowed, voice thick. I wanted to protect you. But I'm not strong enough to fight my brother alone. Rylan growled, you will never take her from me. Kale shot back, she deserves a choice. The brothers stared at each other, the past and present burning between them. Myra finally spoke, tears falling silently. I'm tired of being pulled in two directions. She looked at Kale. I can't run. She looked at Rylan. I can't fight destiny. Kale's face fell. So you choose him? I don't choose anyone, Myra whispered. I just need time. Rylan stepped toward her. You have time. As long as you need. Kale's shoulders sagged. And what about the prophecy? The war? The threats? Time is something we may not have. Myra looked down. She had never felt so scared. So pressured. So tangled in a destiny she had never asked for. Two brothers at war. A prophecy that threatened the world. A child growing inside her with power beyond understanding. And at the center of it all. The palace was unusually quiet that evening. Too quiet. After the explosive fight in the gardens between the brothers, Myra spent the rest of the day hiding in her room, pacing the length of it until her feet hurt. Her stomach felt heavier than usual, her chest tight with worry. She couldn't make Kale happy. She couldn't calm Rylan. She couldn't control the prophecy. She couldn't protect her family. And now she knew about the rebellion, and Kale's betrayal, and the child inside her who could save or doom the world. Her hands trembled as she lit a lantern on the balcony, hoping fresh air would steady her. But instead of calming her, the breeze only seemed to make her more aware of the strange shift in the palace atmosphere. People whispered more. Guards moved faster. Servants avoided eye contact. Something was coming. Something bad. The sun set, painting the sky in streaks of orange and gold. Night crept in slowly, wrapping the palace in dark velvet. Myra stood on the balcony, hugging herself as the first stars blinked alive. That was when she heard it. A soft knock. Her heart jumped. Who is it? No answer. She stepped back cautiously. Rylan? Still no answer. When she reached the door and unlocked it, she found not a guard, not Rylan, not Cale. But Celine, the healer. Her usually calm face was tense, her silver eyes sharp. Myra. We need to talk. Now. Myra's pulse quickened. What's wrong? Celine entered quickly, closing the door behind her. You need to hear something I didn't tell the princes. Myra blinked. Why? Because I wasn't sure, Celine said, voice low. But now I am. Sure about what? Celine hesitated for a long moment, then stepped closer. The pregnancy, the memory wipe, the timing. Myra, the night of the gathering, you weren't just drugged. Myra felt her stomach twist painfully. Then what happened to me? You completed a partial bond. Myra's breath stalled. With who? Celine answered slowly. With the man who touched you that night. And the man was. The door slammed open. Myra jumped. Rylan stood in the doorway, storm-eyed, chest rising fast. His gaze flicked from Myra to Celine. What is this? He demanded. Celine bowed stiffly. Your Majesty. What are you telling her? Rylan cut in sharply. Myra stepped forward, voice trembling. Rylan, something happened that night. Celine was just. He held up a hand. His eyes were locked on the healer. Leave, he said. Celine hesitated, then nodded once. If you need me, Myra, call for me. When Celine left, Myra turned to Rylan fully. You heard her. There's more to that night. More than just a missing memory. Rylan ran a hand down his face, stepping deeper into the room. It doesn't matter. How can you say that? Myra cried. It matters to me. Rylan's jaw tightened. His voice lowered. I didn't want you to hear it from her. She blinked. What? Rylan looked like he'd aged 10 years in a second. Myra, the night of the gathering, you and I. Myra's heart stopped. No. He nodded, eyes pained. Yes. You're saying, her stomach flipped. You're the father? Yes, he said softly. Myra staggered back. But I don't remember anything. I know, Rylan whispered. Someone took your memory. Someone didn't want you to remember us. Her hands shook uncontrollably. We bonded. Not fully, Rylan admitted. But enough. Enough that your body accepted me. Myra's breaths came fast, shallow, disoriented. Why didn't you say anything sooner? Because I wanted you to trust me because you chose to, Rylan said desperately. Not because of one night you can't remember. Myra shook her head, unable to think clearly. She felt 1,000 emotions at once: shock, confusion, anger, shame, fear. Who took my memory? She whispered. I don't know, Rylan said. But I'll find out. Myra hugged herself. And the child? Is mine, Rylan said gently. But that doesn't change anything. Cale still cares about you. The prophecy is still real. Your family is still in danger. The Thorn Alliance still threatens us. And the war. The window exploded inward. Glass shattered everywhere. Myra screamed as Rylan tackled her to the ground, shielding her with his body. A loud boom shook the palace. Flames roared outside the window. Screams filled the air. Rylan rolled off her, grabbing her wrist. We need to move. What's happening? Myra cried. Rebellion, Rylan said grimly. Cale's people are attacking the palace. Myra's heart shattered. Cale? Her Cale? Come on. Rylan pulled her down the hall. Explosions boomed from every direction. Smoke filled the corridors. Guards ran past them, shouting warnings. Myra stumbled after Rylan, chest tight with panic. Then a shadow stepped out from behind a pillar. Cale. His eyes were wild, hair tousled, sword in hand. Myra, he shouted. Come with me, we have to go. Rylan growled, stepping between them. You traitor. You left me no choice, Cale hissed. You blew up my palace. I wanted to stop the prophecy from controlling her life. The brothers clashed verbally, voices raw with betrayal and fury. Myra's head spun. Smoke. Flames. Screams. The brothers ready to kill each other. She did the only thing her shaking body allowed. She ran. She didn't think. She didn't choose a direction. She just ran. Behind her she heard Rylan shout her name. Kale curse angrily. Swords clashing. She ran through the smoke, and straight into the arms of an assassin. A vampire. Its fangs glistened. Its eyes glowed red. It reached for her stomach. Myra screamed. And the world went white. A blast of energy burst from her body, throwing the vampire against the wall. It exploded into ash. Myra collapsed to her knees, panting. Her hands shook. Her vision blurred. Her child had protected her. Her unborn child. Then darkness swallowed her whole. When Myra woke, she was lying on a cold marble floor. Her head throbbed. Her palms burned. Her stomach felt strange, like something inside her was glowing. She pushed herself up slowly. The room was unfamiliar. Tall pillars of black stone. Silver lanterns. A circular ceiling carved with wolves and moons. A single throne made of obsidian sitting on a raised platform. She wasn't in her bedroom. Or the healing chamber. Or a prison. She was in the old ritual hall, a forbidden part of the palace. Good. You're awake. Myra turned sharply. Kale stepped out from behind a pillar. Her heart jumped. Kale? He looked exhausted. There was blood on his shirt, not his, she hoped. His gold eyes looked dimmer, sadder. What happened? Myra whispered. You fainted, Kale said quietly. After, something strange happened. Myra remembered the vampire. The blast of light. She clutched her stomach. The baby is fine, Kale said quickly. Unaffected. I checked your pulse and sent myself. She exhaled shakily. Then her eyes hardened. You attacked the palace. Kale looked down. Yes. People died. Yes. You betrayed your brother. Kale's voice cracked. Yes. Myra stepped back from him. Why? He dragged a hand through his hair angrily. Because he's dangerous, Myra. Because he makes decisions with the crown first and the people last. Because he was going to drag you into a war you didn't choose. So you start one yourself? Myra shot back. That doesn't make you better. Kale flinched. Myra turned away, emotions tearing through her. Fire. Blood. Memory loss. Prophecy. Pregnancy. A mate bond she didn't choose. And now betrayal, deep, painful betrayal from the one person she thought knew her. Myra, Kale said quietly, you have no idea what Rylan has planned. And you do, she asked bitterly. You think you know what's best for me? You think you know my heart better than I do? Kale stepped closer. Yes. She shook her head. No. You know the girl hidden in the gardens. Not the one forced into destiny. Not the one carrying a child. Not the one fighting to survive every minute. Kale's voice softened. I want to protect that girl. The one you used to be. Myra looked at him sadly. That girl is gone. Silence settled between them. Kale lowered his eyes, defeated. I know. Myra turned toward the throne room doors. But they burst open. Rylan stormed in, eyes black with fury, sword drawn. Myra. His gaze hit Kale like a blow. You will not touch her again, Rylan snarled. Kale stepped in front of Myra. You're a tyrant. This kingdom needs a leader who doesn't bend to prophecy and destroy everything in his path. Rylan growled. This kingdom needs a leader who doesn't blow up his home like a child having a tantrum. Myra stepped between them. Stop it. But neither brother listened. Kale swung his sword. Rylan blocked it. Steel clashed. Sparks flew. Myra felt panic rise in her chest. Stop. Please. They fought harder. Blades ringing. Blood splattering. Brothers turning into enemies. Myra screamed, but it wasn't a normal scream. Light burst from her again. White. Blinding. Raw. It knocked both brothers to the floor. Myra collapsed too, gasping for breath. Her fingers glowed faintly. Her stomach pulsed with warm light. Kale stared at her in shock. What was that? Rylan pushed himself up slowly, eyes wide. The bond, he whispered. The child. The prophecy. The lumen awakening. Myra's whole body trembled. What's happening to me? Rylan knelt in front of her, touching her face gently. You just released pure lumen power, and not even at full strength. Kale shook his head in disbelief. She's turning into a weapon. No, Rylan snapped. She's turning into the queen she was meant to be. Myra looked at them both with tears in her eyes. No. I'm turning into a target. The doors slammed open again. Vampires flooded into the ritual hall, eyes glowing red. Rylan moved instantly, weapon raised. Kale stepped beside him. For one terrifying moment, the brothers stood united again. Myra pushed herself up weakly, clutching her stomach. Rylan growled, "Stay behind us." Kale added, "Hold on to me if you feel faint." Myra stared at the dozens of vampires approaching, their claws out, teeth bared. They were here for her. For her power. For her unborn child. She whispered one word. Enough. Light exploded from her body again. Brighter. Hotter. Strong enough to shake the ground. Vampires screamed as their bodies turned to ash. The entire hall glowed like the heart of the sun. And Myra. Myra finally understood. Her child wasn't the only powerful one. She was too. But power always came with a price. And hers had only just begun. Silence fell after the last vampire turned to ash. Only Myra's ragged breathing echoed through the ritual hall. Rylan and Kale stared at her, one in awe, the other in fear, as faint white sparks drifted from her fingers like falling snow. Myra could feel her baby's heartbeat pulsing under her palm, warm and steady, as if trying to reassure her. As if trying to speak to her. Rylan approached cautiously, his sword lowered, his expression unreadable. "Myra, are you hurt?" She shook her head, though her body trembled from the energy she'd released. "No. But I don't understand what's happening to me." Kale moved closer too, slower than Rylan but with softer eyes. "It's your power." "The Lumen Awakening," Celine said. "No," Rylan corrected sharply. "This is beyond the Lumen Awakening. This is something else." Before Myra could respond, a voice echoed from the shadows. "Indeed it is." From the far side of the hall, a figure stepped forward, tall, slim, elegant. Her skin was snow-pale, her hair silver, her eyes a piercing crimson. The Shadeborn Queen. Myra's blood froze. Kale drew his sword again. "You." The queen raised a single hand, and Kale's body froze in place as if invisible chains wrapped around him. Rylan lunged, but the queen extended her other hand. "And you stay too." Rylan's limbs locked, his teeth gritted in frustration as he fought the invisible force. The queen smiled politely. "Finally, we meet face to face, little Lumen." Myra backed away, heart pounding. "Stay away from me." "Oh, but I can't," the queen purred. "Not when your existence threatens 1,000 years of my people's work." Myra's stomach twisted. "You sent the assassins." "Yes." "You orchestrated the Thorn Alliance threats." "Of course." "You destroyed my memories." The queen smirked. Someone had to keep the timeline clean. Rylan's eyes widened. "You erased her memories? You were there the night of the gathering?" The queen tilted her head. "I needed Myra's bond with you to occur at the right time. Not too soon. Not too late. You see, prophecy is delicate." Her red eyes slid to Myra's stomach. "And this little starchild is the key." Kale growled, forcing out words through clenched teeth. "What do you want with her child?" The queen smiled coldly. "The same thing everyone wants. Control." Myra held her stomach protectively, fear clawing at her throat. "You can't have my child." "Oh, sweet girl." The queen stepped closer. "This child is a weapon. A bridge between light and shadow. I want to open the ancient gates the moon sealed long ago. And your child is the key." Rylan fought the paralysis, veins visible in his neck. "You will not touch her." The queen sighed dramatically. "You Dravens are so dramatic. So predictable." Her gaze returned to Myra. "You think your powers awakened naturally? No. I pushed them. I needed chaos to unlock your potential before the birth." Myra's voice trembled. "You're lying." "Am I?" The queen smiled wider. "Who do you think planted the first bomb? Who whispered rebellion into Kale's ears? Who leaked the prophecy to the Thorn Alliance? Who wiped your memories? Kale's face went pale. You used me. You let yourself be used, the Queen said simply. Your jealousy made you weak. Kale flinched as if struck. Rylan finally broke free with a snarl, stumbling forward. Enough. The Queen stepped back lightly. Oh, the Alpha King found strength. Good. You'll need it. More vampires emerged from the shadows, dozens, then hundreds, surrounding the hall. Myra felt her body tremble, but the light inside her pulsed fiercely, pushing back the fear. The Queen studied her curiously. You shine so brightly, even now. How fascinating. Rylan stepped in front of Myra. I will not let you take her. Over my dead body. Kale moved beside Myra too, despite his shaken expression. If anyone touches her, they answer to me. The Queen rolled her eyes. Brothers united? How sentimental. The vampires surged forward. Myra instinctively threw her hands out. Stop. Light exploded from her body again. But this time, something happened. Instead of merely blasting outward, the light twisted, shaping itself, wrapping around Rylan and Kale like armor. A barrier formed, shining, powerful, protective. The Queen staggered back, hissing. Impossible. Myra's voice echoed strangely, as if layered with another older voice. You cannot have what does not belong to you. Her baby kicked hard. Energy erupted from Myra again, but this time it shot upward, hitting the carved ceiling. Symbols glowed, ancient runes humming. Then, boom. The entire hall burst with blinding light. When the brightness faded, Myra collapsed. Rylan caught her. Myra, stay with me. Kale fell beside them. She's bleeding, she's losing consciousness. The vampires were gone. The Queen had vanished. The hall lay in ruins. Myra's voice came out faint. My baby, is it safe? Rylan pressed his forehead to hers, voice breaking. Yes. I feel the heartbeat. You both are alive. Kale's hands shook. We need Celine. Now. Myra's vision blurred as she whispered. Rylan. Kale, don't leave me. And darkness claimed her again. Myra woke days later. Sunlight streamed through the window of a room she didn't recognize. A soft breeze carried the scent of flowers. Her body felt weak but warm. Safe. Her first thought was the baby. Her hand shot to her stomach. Heartbeat. Steady. Strong. Relief washed through her so powerfully she nearly cried. A soft voice spoke. You're awake. Myra turned to see Rylan sitting beside the bed, dark circles under his eyes, his usually composed expression replaced with raw relief. Myra, he reached for her hand, but stopped midway, uncertain. How do you feel? Weak, she whispered. Alive. Is the war over? No, Rylan said quietly. But the Shadeborn retreated after your blast. And the Thorn Alliance has gone silent. They're afraid of you. Myra looked away. I don't want people to fear me. Rylan gently cupped her cheek. They fear your power. Not you. Myra closed her eyes. I never wanted power. I know, he whispered. But you have it. And you used it to save us all. She didn't respond. A moment later, the door opened slowly. Kale stepped inside, looking just as exhausted. He froze when Myra met his eyes. Myra, he said softly. Her throat tightened. Are you hurt? I should be asking that, Kale said with a sad smile. The air filled with unspoken words. Kale stepped forward. Myra, I'm sorry. For everything. For the rebellion. For the lies. For letting myself be manipulated. Myra looked at him gently. You wanted to protect me. Even if your way was wrong. Kale swallowed hard. And I'd do anything to take it back. Rylan stiffened but said nothing. Myra reached out and touched Kale's hand briefly. We all made mistakes. But we're still here. Kale nodded, eyes glistening. Yes. Because you saved us. Rylan stepped closer to Myra. Myra, there is something else. Something you need to hear. Her heart dropped. What? Rylan took a slow breath. My advisors, my council, the packs, they demand I take a queen who can stand on the throne without starting a prophecy war. Myra's heart clenched. So they want me dead? No, Ryland said firmly. They want you controlled. Watched. Hidden. They want you locked away until the child is born. Cale cursed under his breath. They want to cage her. Ryland nodded painfully. Yes. Myra felt a cold anger rise. No. I won't let anyone cage me again. I'm done being controlled. I'm done being quiet. Ryland bowed his head. I know. Which is why I refused. And why half the council wants to overthrow me. Myra stared at him. You risked your throne, for me? Ryland looked straight into her eyes. I risked everything. Because I choose you. Cale clenched his jaw. And I choose her too. The room grew tense again. But Myra raised her hand. Stop. Her voice was soft but firm. I'm done being a prize between two brothers. I'm done being something to fight over. Ryland's expression softened. You're not a prize, Myra. Cale whispered, you're the only thing I ever loved. Myra shook her head. No. I'm a person. And I need to choose myself. Both men went silent. Myra took a deep breath. I will not be hidden. I will not be controlled. I will not be used as a weapon or a prophecy tool. I am the mother of this child. I am a Lumen Omega. And from this day forward, I stand beside the throne as an equal. Ryland stared at her with awe. You want to be queen? I want to be free, Myra replied. And I want my child safe. Cale stepped toward her slowly. And what about us? Myra's eyes filled with gentle sadness. You will always matter to me, Cale. But my path is not with you. Cale looked down, pain slipping across his features. I know. She touched his arm softly. But you can still fight for this kingdom. And for yourself. Cale nodded, eyes glistening. I'll spend the rest of my life earning forgiveness. Then he kissed her forehead gently and walked out, leaving the room in silence. Ryland sat beside her again. Myra, if you stand beside me, not as a mate forced by fate but as a queen by choice, there is nothing in this world I wouldn't do for you. Myra met his gaze. I don't choose fate. I choose myself. And Ryland whispered. And I choose you, but only if I walk beside you, not behind. Ryland closed his eyes, relief flooding his face. Then kneel with me. He knelt on the floor beside her bed. Not as king, he murmured. But as a man grateful you exist. Myra smiled through tears and placed her hand in his. I choose you, Ryland. But I also choose our child. And I choose the woman I'm becoming. Ryland pressed her hand to his heart. Outside the window, the first morning sun rose, bathing the palace in gold. Inside the room, a new queen was born. Not through prophecy, not through fear, but through choice. And the world would never be the same. Before you go, tell me, whose side are you on? Team Ryland or Team Cale? Drop your answer in the comments right now. And if you want the next chapter, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications, because trust me, the story is only getting darker, wilder, and way more addictive.